Welcome to a new video on the Africa Infographics channel. Today we will learn about Igboland, a decentralized government that existed long before European colonization and lasted from around 800 AD until the 20th century. Though their history is long and has gone through many changes, the Igbo or Igbo people remain one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa. Approximately 15 million Igbo people live in modern-day Nigeria, and another million live outside the country. Their farming communities are broadly situated between the Niger River in the west and the Cross River in the east. The land stretches from delta swampland near the southern coast through tropical rainforest with open grasslands in the north. Before European colonization, the Igbo people were not united as a single entity, but lived in autonomous local communities. In fact, it would have been incorrect to refer to the Igbo as a single people prior to the 20th century, as they were composed of over 200 separate groups. Although their customs and languages were related, each group could have been considered a distinct society, encompassing perhaps 20 or 30 villages. In this video, we will first introduce the Igbo and present their main kingdoms. Then we will explore how this decentralization worked and what structures kept it in place. Finally, we will examine life inside the villages, understand the philosophy behind the Igbo, and learn more about their culture. If you would like to see more content like this, don't forget to hit the like button. Igboland was composed of many different chiefdoms and kingdoms, sometimes nothing more than a small village. The Igbo people have been smelting and forging iron for centuries, and their oral traditions are rich with accounts of ironworking and iron use. With iron, the Igbo produced sophisticated tools like swords, hoes, knives, earrings, and cooking pots. The widespread use of iron tools enabled the Igbo people to make better use of the forest. They grew yams, their principal staple food, cocoa yams, bananas, and plantains with iron tools. Iron tools also helped them to cut down fruits from the tall palm trees and process them into edible and medicinal oils. Scholars have attributed the high density of the Igbo population to the antiquity and effectiveness of yam cultivation and their skills at exploiting the oil palm. At its fully developed stage, the Igbo agricultural system was based on shifting cultivation, a rotating cultivation where the same fields were planted for several years in succession, then left empty for the fields to regain their fertility. As I mentioned earlier, a striking feature of Igbo society was the absence of centralized political structures. Each village in Igbo society was administered like a republic, independent or sovereign state. The Igbo lived in autonomous villages and towns governed by their elders. Let's get to know some of the important kingdoms inside Igbo land. These communities were organized into several autonomous kingdoms, including the Indri Kingdom, founded in approximately 900 AD, is considered the oldest kingdom in Nigeria. It was a hub of spirituality, learning, and commerce, and is considered the root of the Igbo people's culture, language, and belief. The kingdom was governed by a priest king called Nheze, who managed trade and diplomacy on behalf of the people and had divine authority in religious matters. The kingdom's philosophy is built upon harmony and peaceful coexistence. The belief system that violence was a taboo that contaminated the land was highly revered. Rather than through force, the Indri kingdom expanded through converts gaining neighboring communities' allegiance. It was a peaceful kingdom with a philosophy of peace, wisdom, justice, harmony, and unity with creation. Unlike most kingdoms of the 12th to 18th century and earlier, slavery was frowned upon in the Indri kingdom, and it was a kingdom where all people were welcome, including outcasts from other communities and runaway slaves. Their economy soared as a result of agriculture, trades, and hunting. Agbor Kingdom. There are different perspectives on how Agbor was founded. After a disagreement between two princes in Benin, they settled it by casting lots. One of the princes then moved to an area called Agbon. According to one source, the first ruler of Agbon was Dean, who reigned from 1270 to 1307 with his headquarters at Agboninta. Agbon was later anglicized by the British, who found it difficult to pronounce, to become the present-day name of the town, Agbor. The traditional ruler of Agbor is known as Eze or Obi. In Agbor and in many other Igbo communities, the word Dane evolved to become a revered title for the oldest man in the community, and by implication, a title meaning the leader of the community. The various festivals observed by the people provide an opportunity to showcase the various aspects of their culture. Some of these festivals, such as Igbos, were instituted by Dean Ebonka in 1270 AD. Relationships in Igbo society were based on blood ties, with each person tracing their descent to one of three groups. The smallest social unit was the Uno, or house, which was a natural family consisting of a man, his wife or wives, and their children. The second group was the Umuawiya, or lineage, which was composed of several related houses. A compact village or town, Obodo, was formed when a group of lineages came together. This was the highest territorial authority of the Igbo. Each house, lineage, and town was headed by a headman, Onyisi, who acquired the position by virtue of his age. Town meetings were usually held in the town square, while the most important lineage and house meetings were held in the obi, or meeting shed, of the most senior elders. The Igbos subscribed to the principle of direct participation in government. Their entire social and political structures revolved around the idea of cross-cutting ties. The five most important cross-cutting institutions were the councils of elders, age groups associations, councils of chiefs, women's associations, and secret societies. These institutions were integral to the society, and without them, it would be starved of its essence and would disintegrate. Let's get to know some of these cross-cutting institutions a little more. The Council of Elders played an important role in the pre-colonial political administration of the Igbo people. Their duties were to maintain the customs, traditions, and laws of the land. The Council of Elders consisted of members of each clan or family head, as well as titled men. The Ozo title was the most prestigious title. In addition to their administrative duties, the Council of Elders managed the Igbo indigenous justice system. The Igbo people valued participatory and consensus politics, along with checks and balances, and the Council of Elders was an important part of this system. An age group association, known as Ogbo, was composed of men or women who were approximately the same age. In a given town, all residents born within a few years of each other belonged to the same age group with separate sections for men and women. The age group system served to help societies without written records remember past events and assign special duties and responsibilities to different segments of the community based on seniority. The junior age groups, age 15 and below, were responsible for minor jobs. Men in the middle age groups, from about age 16 to about 40, formed the fighting forces. In the event of war, each age group acted as a separate regiment under a leader from an older age group. They also functioned as the executive arm of the government and were responsible for, among other things, apprehending fugitives. The senior male age groups, those aged 40 and above, were responsible for judicial matters. They made decisions on when a town should go to war, how an offender should be punished, when the various agricultural cycles would begin and end, and when the annual festivals would be held. Members of a group acted together, and the friendships they cultivated in childhood remained intact throughout their lives. One of the most important women's associations in Igbo communities was the O-Omu Society, which was led by a female functionary known as the Omu. Joining this prestigious association served as an incentive for hard work and thrift. Only women who had enough wealth to pay for the initiation ceremonies were admitted. Members of the Omu Society acted as a pressure group in political matters and imposed fines on men and women who disturbed the peace of the marketplace. They also punished quarrelsome women and those who broke certain taboos, such as those prohibiting incest and adultery. It was perilous for any man, no matter how influential, to provoke the anger of this association. The leader of the Omu Society attended the meetings of the councils of chiefs and elders and participated in discussions affecting the welfare of the citizens. Although the women themselves would not take part in wars, they could decide when to urge the male warrior chiefs to start one. The Omu Society and several other women's associations acted as checks and balances in the social and political organization of Igbo communities. Women were perceived to possess superior spiritual well-being and often led traditional cults and shrines. Women could also gain status by amassing wealth through trading, farming, or weaving. As she grew older, she learned from experience that hard work, marriage, and membership of certain associations enabled women to advance socially. the Igbo people placed great emphasis on personal achievement, and hereditary succession to titles would have contradicted notions of leadership and fair play. Some Igbo men managed to acquire prestigious titles, which enabled them to be acknowledged as great men or chiefs. Titled chiefs formed their own councils and represented their communities to outsiders. A man who failed to progress beyond the most junior titles was a man without status in the eyes of his people. Regardless of his age, they looked upon him as a boy. The highest title in many Igbo communities was Ozo. However, the appeal of the Ozo title declined in the 20th century when British colonial officers changed the traditional rules. That concludes this fascinating video on Igbo culture and history. As you saw, it was a decentralized society that worked well together through its meritocratic philosophy and democratic councils. Every member of the Igboland society, whether male or female, had a voice and many opportunities to rise within their society. We hope you enjoyed learning more about the Igbo. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe to our channel. So far, we have covered many pre-colonial African empires. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.